Welcome to day 2 of Emotional Intelligence. I'm so excited you could join us. This is Dr. Jessica Wright. I want to talk today about acknowledgement of our emotions. So take a look at this picture. What do you see happening here? We've got one of my favorite, I use this picture a lot in my classes on emotional intelligence, and one of the things I enjoy is for a minute. So everyone likes to shout out, like, this is a cat roasting on a fire, right? This is Tom of Tom and Jerry, and he's getting roasted. But very few people look at it and immediately recognize he's a very happy cat getting roasted. We're going to talk today about acknowledging the emotion that we're feeling and ways that we can discharge it. And we first have to, make the comment about how often we might be experiencing one emotion, and then our face, our attitude, our voice are going to be expressing a different emotion. So a lot of us might experience anxiety or fear or anger, but because of a variety of reasons, we express it differently. When I ask this in my classes, a lot of times I ask the question, what emotions are men not allowed to feel in our society? And we talk through them. And almost inevitably, someone says something to the effect of weakness or vulnerability or fear or tears or any of those things. And then I ask the question, what emotion are women not allowed to feel in our society? And it's always the same couple of answers that come through. Anger is number one, followed by confidence or frustration, all of these different things. And I say not allowed to feel in our society because these restrictions on what we're allowed to express as emotions are culturally specific. So different cultures around the world tell us which emotions to feel in different contexts. So you might have a cultural aspect of understanding what is an appropriate emotion to feel or express. And you might have religious or gendered expectations around what's okay for you to express. But at the end of the day, biologically, from a perspective of what your body is doing in reaction to a stimulus. So your body creates a chemical reaction to a stimulus in your environment, and that's called an emotion. And those biologically are the same among all humans, for men and for women, for people around the world. We all experience. There are some anthropologists that discovered 7 common emotions across the world that are just biologically programmed into us, and we all experience them the same. So acknowledging what we're experiencing is going to be the first step. And then what do we do after we acknowledge them? So we're going to talk specifically about anxiety because a lot of us are experiencing that. I have a beautiful artistic rendering of a brain. I liked it because it was very colorful. One of the things when you read about how anxiety manifests in our brain is that it has a lot to do with the amygdala. I made these silly little ovals as a cartoon version. The amygdalas are almond shaped. They're small. They're at the very back of your brain. And they do play a role in anxiety and various emotions. It is an oversimplification to say that anxiety is just a hyperactive amygdala, but it is a good way to think of it is your amygdala is sending you a signal, right? Your amygdala is talking to you. It's telling you something's going on. There was a great study in 2013 of a bunch of students that were purposefully stressed out. So the researchers put students in a group and they purposefully stressed them out with a bunch of anxiety-producing activities. And then they divided them into 4 groups. So one of the groups, they had them move. They took them outside and they went moving around. They put another in another room and they gave them utensils to write and draw. In a third group, they got them together and had them talk about their anxiety, about how hard that thing was they just did. And then in a final group, they had them ignore their anxiety and actually move on to a different task. So this last group, they had them just pretend that the last thing that happened was not that big of a deal and move on to the next task. And actually, in all except that last group, the amygdala, the activity of the amygdala slowed down. So they were measuring the amygdala during the stressful a task that they had them do. And then they measured as they did this other task, and then afterwards, what did their amygdala look like? And in moving or writing or drawing or talking about the stressful situation, the activity died down. The amygdala was able to stop sending signals. But in that last group, the one that was ignoring the fact that they just went through a stressful situation, the amygdala activity, it didn't just go down, it increased. Because essentially, our brains continue to send us strong signal. Oh, there's another motorcycle. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is quite a joy to be working from home and hear all the motorcycles go up and down the street. Anyways, in our brains, the amygdalas are there to send us, hey, pay attention signals, right? They're sending us, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And if we ignore them or suppress them, they actually grow stronger in their signal. So the signal grows stronger in strength, it grows stronger in duration. And so that is really key. So when we talk about, we're going to talk now about our reactions to anxiety, those doorbells that we might experience. And we'll talk about what are some of the things that we can do. So we talked about doorbells last time, and what the doorbells look like. And for me personally, a doorbell, like I mentioned, might be me, my fist. I tend to clench my fist or hunch my shoulders. I'll get a pain in my shoulder or my neck, which will tell me, ooh, you're really anxious right now. And what we need to do is reach for our reset buttons. So we're going to look for a set of reset buttons. Reset buttons are things that are going to dissipate that anxiety. So we have a chemical within us that is telling, a chemical signal within our brains that are telling us that we're anxious. It's a physical response that our body has. We need to discharge that energy and reset. So resetting could be drinking a glass of water, going for a walk, connecting with a human. So this could be texting or FaceTiming. If there are other people that are there with you, talking face to face, hugging if possible, right? Being next to that person, being in close proximity helps if you can. Reading a book, watching a lovely video, watching a video of something beautiful happening, riding your bike, doing push-ups, having a dance party, laughing, crying. Both of these, both laughter and tears, have physical reactions within your body that help discharge the emotion that you're having. And so they're both very healthy ways of reacting to the emotion. So your homework tonight is going to think about, what are your reset buttons? What can you do when you feel anxious? What are the things that you can do that are your favorite things to help you when you're feeling anxious?